things together. So I want to talk a little bit about what was in the bill. Welcome to those of you joining us in YouTube to the Lurie Daniel Favors Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. We're talking powers and becomes action. I want to talk a little bit about what we are seeing as the continuing fallout from the disastrous efforts of President Elon Musk, Vice President Vivek Ramaswamy, and Deputy Director Trump, and Junior Varsity Deputy, First Vice President of the Junior Varsity team, J.D. Vance. As we know, yesterday I talked about the fact that they had decided to completely tank this continuing resolution. And the continuing resolution is basically that piece of legislation that is going to allow the government to continue spending at current government levels so that the American government and the economy does not default. Right? This is a very important thing, because if you have a default, then you're in a situation where not only is our economy as Americans tanked beyond repair, but the global economy is pretty bad. Now, as I mentioned yesterday, and if you missed the conversation yesterday, we had a lot of fun. And also check out Karen Hunter's on the app, because I got a chance to hang out with her and folks as well on her show last night or last evening. But as we talked yesterday, this continuing resolution, not only did it, yes, it did include some additional things. In addition to government spending, it included some hundreds of billions of dollars in disaster relief. We're going to actually go into some of these things. And they tanked it. And then there was an effort last night, as you heard in the clips, for those of you who are listening in Urban View, as you heard in the clips, there was another effort to cobble together a second subsequent continuing resolution. And the continuing resolution, once again, for those of you who missed it, is just legislation that says, hey, man, we ain't got enough money. We're going to agree to continue funding the government, and then we're going to have to reallocate how much money we're spending, and we'll do that at another time, because we're not going to have them negotiations today. And so, again, President Elon Musk was like, nah, son, we ain't going to do that. And so yesterday, and as after the show, we found that Republicans were again trying to cobble this together. And they have to cobble it together because the Democrats is like, what you ain't going to do is use us. We had agreed. We had an agreement. The Republicans posted the agreement. The Republicans were talking about the agreement. Y'all said this is what we're going to do. And then all of a sudden, y'all backed out because of your president, Elon Musk. Well, figure it out then. So as you heard in the clips that we played coming back from the commercial break, the Democrats are like, you know what? Put your big boy pants on. You got it. You wanted to tank this whole situation. Go ahead and do it. So that's exactly what the Republicans did. They put together another little janky piece of legislation that they wanted to call the continuing resolution. The challenge, however, is it was so janky that it failed miserably, to the tune of nearly 40 Republicans voting against it, even though their president, Elon Musk, was like, to all my GOP biatches, because that's what they are. At this point, Elon Musk owns every single one of them. They are his biatches. And so Elon Musk, the president, was like, to all my GOP biatches, for any of you who do not vote for this continuing resolution, you are going to get a primary and I'm going to pay for it. And then Donald Trump was like, yeah, yeah. The challenge is, one of the other things that the Republicans wanted to include in this continuing resolution was that debt ceiling increase. They want to raise the limit on the debt ceiling, which, again, if you remember from yesterday, the only reason they need to do that is because the deputy director, junior president, Trump, he had promised all the billionaires that he was going to make them tax credits and them tax breaks, rather, from 2017, that $1.9 trillion in tax breaks. He was going to make those permanent because they expire next year. And so they want the debt ceiling to be raised under President Biden, even though they're going to be in office and own the White House. They're going to own the Senate. They're going to own the House of Representatives in like less than 30 days. In fact, wait, today's the 20th. 1 month from now. Dun, dun, dun. 1 month from now, Republicans will have all the power. Raise the debt ceiling when you're in power. Why you need it to be under the Democrats? Why you need it to be under Biden? Oh, that's right, because Trump said that when you have a government shutdown, the pain and the anger of the shutdown inures to the president in power. And he would know because he had the longest shutdown on record and his only one little limp, flaccid, and puny little term. And so he wants this debt ceiling raised under Biden so that when he is sworn in just a month from today, he will then be able to make the tax breaks that he gave to the billionaire boys club, he will be able to make them permanent. And if you're poor, your taxes will increase because that's how these things go. So that's what they were trying to do. And the Republicans was like, we're going to make it happen. President Musk and Deputy Director Trump and Junior Varsity First Vice President of the second string team, J.D. Vance, we're going to make it happen. but they need Democrats to make it happen because they don't have a mandate. They have the slimmest of majorities. And you cannot win a vote in your own house when 38 of your own members refuse to sign on board. So, however, there's some things that you need to know were also in this bill, because I saw some comments on the YouTube clip that I shared yesterday, or the YouTube live that I did yesterday, and somebody was like, well, they had all this pork in that continuing resolution. Give us all the bacon, the ham, the swine. It's just pork, pork, pork. There's no reason you should have all these things in the bill. And I was like, all right, well, let's look at what was in the bill. Since that's what you said, let's see if what you said was right. Representative Greg Landsman, he's a Congress, I don't know where Greg Landsman is from. Where is he at? Ohio, Southwest Ohio. And he is a congressman from the great state of Ohio. And he said that this yesterday. He said Congress was moments away from passing a bipartisan funding agreement that would have helped farmers, seniors, families, and small businesses, almost everybody. Then a billionaire, President Elon Musk, and Trump, because Trump is, he might be a billionaire now, but he ain't been a billionaire for a long time. He said a billionaire and Trump said, nope, shut the government down. Here are 10 ways they just screwed you. So here are some things that were in that legislation, because a lot of folks don't read. And then they think that people like me who do read and then tell you the things that I read about, they think we making it up because they don't read. Hi, Blake from Connecticut, the troll who called up to be mad at me talking about history because he had never heard this history before. And then I had to remind him, well, Blake from Connecticut, you are a self-identified white man who lives in communities where y'all ban books. And you don't read things that are in books that make you uncomfortable. So there's a lot of this history that you don't know because of your self-imposed ignorance. That's not my fault. My people teach things. My people learn things because we got to survive not just the world, we got to survive you. Hi, Blake. Hope you're well. Here are some of the things that were in the bill. Number one, telehealth. Remember how during the COVID pandemic, we all began really benefiting from being able to sit in front of a camera, much like I'm doing right now, and talking to your doctor who was on the other side of the camera, who's able to prescribe things to you and give you a diagnosis or give you an update or send you some additional medicine. Telehealth was also in this bill. The expansion of telehealth. It was going to make it easier for you to get access to healthcare. Poof, it's gone. Also in the bill were tickets. Because remember, one of the things the Biden-Harris administration has been really intentional about is implementing policies that were going to make it easier for people to just navigate the world that we're in. So, you know, when you buy tickets from Ticketmaster, when you buy tickets for airlines or for hotels, there are all of these extra fees that go into it. Well, the Biden-Harris administration had implemented some policies that were going to eradicate that. And the funding for those policies were in this bill. And according to Congressman Representative Greg Landsman, you were going to get full transparency on ticket pricing, refunds for concerts, hotels, you name it. No more hidden fees. Poof, gone. The other thing that was in the bill was a reform for prescription drug costs. 60 million seniors nationwide, 3 million of whom live in Ohio just alone, 135,000 in Greg Landsman's district lost out on the savings that they were going to get from prescription drug costs, because that too was in the continuing resolution that President Elon Musk said, nope, poof, and it's gone. Also, year-round electric vehicle component sales. We were supposed to be in this next, as a result of this continuing resolution, we were going to be able to save about 20 cents per gallon on environmentally friendly fuel options. So if you didn't have an electric vehicle, you were still going to get more access to environmentally friendly fuel options. Would have saved us all 20 cents on the gallon, would have helped corn farmers, even people in his district in Warren County, and poof, no, because President Elon Musk said no. And the biatches in the GOP was like, all right, President Musk. Oh, what did Deputy Director Trump say? The same thing. Oh, that's convenient. Great. Relief for farmers. Farmers were going to receive over $30 billion. I thought it was 10. Sorry, over $30 billion and a one-year extension of the Farm Bill, which would have amounted to almost $450 million just for the farmers in Ohio. That's for farm commodity support, he says, export programs, farm credit, crop insurance, rural development. Poof, it's gone because President Elon Musk said no. Disaster relief. As I said yesterday, $100 billion gone in disaster relief. Do you remember all the folks in North Carolina who, after the disaster, there was all this flood of misinformation and disinformation, and a lot of them ended up voting for Republicans because they believed that the Democrats just didn't want to come and FEMA wasn't there, even though like the people they were talking to were literally FEMA. Yeah, well, you were supposed to get an extra $100 billion from the Biden-Harris administration, which many of y'all did not appreciate, but nope. Go talk to Elon. He got it. He could give it to you. He got it. Small businesses. There was going to be $2.5 billion to restore the Small Business Administration's disaster loan program. Child care providers lost $500 million, which is really problematic considering the Heritage Foundation, which is the primary leaders in the Project 2025, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, they have a plan to increase the birth rate, mainly for white people, because white populations around the world are the only ones experiencing the sort of decline in births in the way that they are, to the extremes that they are. And you know what their plan is to increase population and to reduce the decline in birth rates? It wasn't adding money to childcare. Clearly, they just took $500 million away from the childcare community. It wasn't to provide paid leave. It was to stop giving women access to government programs that would educate them, because an educated woman is not going to stand for being barefoot and pregnant all of her adult life just so she can please the patriarchy. Or maybe she will. Depends on who she's married to and her complexion for protection. All right. So infrastructure, $8 billion gone for fixing roads and bridges, including the Francis Key Scott Bridge, which is a part of a major thoroughfare. Poof, gone. AI deepfakes. There was money in this bill that was going to include protections against AI deepfakes that could have kept us protected. And now, instead of that, because of President Elon Musk and Deputy Director Trump and junior varsity first vice president of the second string, J.D. Vance, now we ain't got none of it. And when they tried to do this again last night, to cobble together a continuing resolution and raise the debt ceiling so Donald Trump could make sure that the Billionaire Boys Club got all the billions that he said he was going to make permanent, it failed. Failed. And so here we are. That legislation is done. And we now have a situation. Let me pull out my paper here. Sorry for the rustling. Actually, I'm not sorry for the rustling of papers because we read news around here. Financial Times reporting U.S. shutdown looms as president, as new president seeks to raise debt. He ain't even the president yet. New York Financial Times. So I'm gonna need y'all to tell the truth about that. But what they are saying is that he demanded, Donald Trump, yesterday, that lawmakers raise the government's debt ceiling rather than pass the unacceptable legislation. This was an 11th hour request. We talked about this yesterday. But what we now know is that the collapse of the bill is also threatening the leadership of the damn Republican Party. Mike Johnson was supposed to go up for re-election to be the Speaker of the House on the 3rd of January. And they're like, jail him. We don't want him. And they want instead, get this, they want Elon Musk as the Speaker of the House. Because you don't actually have to be a member of Congress to be the Speaker of the House. So they want Elon Musk to be the Speaker of the House, which means he would replace Mike Johnson. And we would then not only have a President Elon Musk, we would have a House Speaker Elon Musk. And I don't know what that does to the hierarchy of the Deputy Director Trump and junior varsity president of the vice president of the second string, J.D. Vance. But what it essentially means is not only have they decided to bend over with no Vaseline, but they don't even see a future where ever standing up again on their own and perhaps engaging in Vaseline products would be to their benefit. They're done, cooked, as the kids say. And this is where we're at. 866-801-8255, 866-801-TALK is the number. And so I hate it for all the people who are going to be navigating this reality, the TSA workers, the federal workers. I also hate it because there were two leading pediatric cancer groups. Leading pediatric cancer groups 2 days ago was celebrating the fact that funding they had been fighting for years to fund the Gabriella Miller Kids Act. It was a funding extension and it was included in this continuing resolution package. And you know what that means? 2 days ago, they just put out this notice. They say, congratulations to all of us. We did it. We just received news that the Gabriella Miller Kids First 2.0 has passed and will be signed into law. The Gabriella Miller Kids First program, which is a program to fund research in preventing pediatric cancer, they now have funded $250 million for childhood cancer and disease research. Didn't we just talk a few weeks ago about how there are all these studies now coming out that as a result of the dangerous foods that Americans eat, primarily the foods, the chemicals found in a lot of the oils that we use to cook our foods, oils that are banned in Europe and in other nations and locations where they actually value the lives of their people, how that was leading to an explosion of colon cancer in young bodies in America. Didn't we just read that? Yeah. Well, this organization, the Gabriella Miller Kids First program, was going to get $250 million for childhood cancer and disease research that was included in this continuing resolution. They said in this notice 2 days ago, no, I guess now 3 days ago, we couldn't have done it without all the amazing organizations and advocates that joined us in Zoom meetings, wrote letters, met with their elected officials, helped us to spread the word about our legislation by sharing our posts and so much more. From the bottom of my heart, thank you, says Ellen. And it's gone. because President Elon Musk does not know what it is like to have children who have pediatric cancer and can't afford healthcare. He does not know what it is to have needs that go beyond his own selfishness, because he's a South African apartheid billionaire boy who has come into power on these United States by purchasing the American presidency. And so here's where we're at. 866-801-8255. 866-801-TALK is the number. This is why elections have consequences. I told y'all yesterday, I was at a commission hearing and somebody stood up and it was like, I didn't vote for nobody. I didn't vote for Kamala. I stayed home because if y'all want my vote, you got to give me some tangibles. And I get it. I understand it. Keeping in mind, it wasn't nobody he was talking to actually on a ballot. So it didn't matter to us who he voted for. But this is what it looks like when we stay home. There are so many implications beyond what it is you are thinking about. And when we don't know things, when we don't understand how elections work and the ways in which government impacts every aspect of our lives, we end up with President billionaire boy, South African apartheid Prince Elon Musk as the president, and Deputy Director Trump trying to figure out how quickly he can pretend that he came up with this horrible, awful, no good, very bad idea. We'll take your calls, 866-801-8255, 866-801-TALK. Bye, YouTube. Thank you so much for listening to SiriusXM Urban View. We appreciate you.